All right, hi everybody. Just to kick this off, this could be a longer video, 20 minutes maybe, I don't know. If you haven't got time, don't watch it. My videos go on and on because I talk a lot and they're unedited and unscripted. I'm just making it up as I go along. Now, this one is about the launcher I use on my Samsung Android phone. Use it on my Huawei as well, which is currently videoing this here. Now, the launcher is a Windows style launcher, and I use that because, of course, I can't stand the Android interface. I can't stand the iPhone interface either. I really cannot fathom why they still make them like that. When it hasn't really changed since Windows 3.1, it's a desktop full of icons, and then they let you swipe to another desktop full of icons and swipe this way and find more in a little tray, and if you touch and swipe here or gesture there, you get even more of them. And it's like, come on. Come up with something new. I mean, the Windows team came up with something new quite a few years ago, and it's pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. It's not perfect, but it was innovative and very cool, and certainly more appealing visually. So I went to the store after I got my Huawei and just looked for launchers, Windows launcher or Live Tiles or whatever, and found quite a few. There's a lot of them. And I just read all the comments, read all the negative comments, which is what I do, because you can really tell if an app has some particular problem. Just read the negatives. And I tried 3 of them, and I settled on this one called Launcher 10. I'm not connected with Launcher 10. This isn't an ad for Launcher 10. If you go and use it and buy it, fine, great. I've had it for a number of years now. I paid for it straight away. My wife uses it. A couple of other friends of mine use it. And we all like it. It works really well. It's kept up to date. That's the main thing. It gets updated. And so I've had, I think 3 major Android releases on my phones, and it has always worked. Even when I notice something glitchy or buggy about it, it goes away without me having to go through the process to help resolve the bugs. Here's the purchase. You buy Live Tiles and you remove ads. It's only a few bucks, so I did that. I notice he's got a premium subscription thing now, which includes both of those things. Maybe he's trying to turn it into a subscription model. Whatever. We'll get back to the settings shortly. So the main point is it only does the front end. It only does the home screen. It doesn't do the lock screen. It doesn't do anything inside the settings or anything about Windows, about Android. It's just the home screen, but it does that very, very well. As you can see, this looks basically just like my old Lumia 950, which was set up like this. And if you go to the right, you get what I think is the best swipe right screen in the world, which is all your apps sorted by title. Doesn't get better than that. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to push anything around or shuffle anything around. You don't have to search. It's all there. It's by title. There. The only time this fails, Facebook's under F, of course. Feedly's under F, blah, blah, blah. The only time it fails is these apps that call themselves my business, my files, my countdown, my dealing. That one I looked for ages for. I couldn't find that one. But if you know that they might be there, you can always find them there. So that's really good. Love that. There's a search thing up there as well, if you've got billions of apps. I don't. And so you may also notice that it has the Live Tiles. So in some of these, there you've got a counter. That's the gallery. It's showing pictures. The phone will tell me if I've got a call missed or whatever. The contacts used to have all the little Windows style faces on it when I had it on my Huawei. It hasn't got them now. I might look into that. I might need a widget for that. I'll play with that. The Gmail app gives me notifications, the browser, message, text, Facebook Messenger, your calendar. Right, so that works really well. The Google app even does it. Obviously the weather. So quite a few of them have things. It gets very colorful down here. A Flipboard. And Netflix, it even shows you the shows. You can go refresh to see what's get other suggestions, zombie stuff, good. Right, so that's pretty cool. I like that. It gets messier down here because these are the apps I don't use as often at the moment. Up here is the stuff I use more regularly. That's why it's like this. You know, I keep my phone up there so I can get there. My camera's there so I can get to it quickly. And Outlook is there for the same reason, and my browser and Messenger. That's why those are all at the top. And I always know Spotify, for example, is one swipe. I go like that and stop it, and then I've got Spotify right there. That's very typical. Twitter and so on. Okay, now the way this works, I'll just give you a demonstration of how it works. Because when you first set it up, of course, oops, get my leg out from there. When you first set it up, it doesn't look like this. Yeah, you'll get these, and what you do is you find an app. Now, I was playing with Feedly before as an example. You find the app that you've just installed. Usually it's at the top. See, your freshly installed apps are often up there. For a while, you tap and hold, pin to start. And there it is. It's on the start. Tap and hold again, and you can edit it or unpin it. And here, there's the icon. You can adjust the size of the icon. Now in Windows it was always either that size or that size or that size. I stick to those three sizes. This can go full width, can do a few different sizes like that, but I stick to either the square or the rectangular like that, and in a few cases I use the little tiny ones. It really comes down to whether or not there's a feed on it, a live tile. That's sort of really what matters. You can adjust the label on it, colors, everything, different icons. It even has custom icon packs for if you really want to go nuts about it. Shadows on the text, icon size, whatever, background, custom colors, transparency per icon, right? Live tile settings per icon, and so on and so forth. So there's a heck of a lot of adjustability in it, which wasn't there in the Windows one. As for me, the only adjustment I use is I go in, I set the width and height depending on whether it's got a feed or not. Some things just have a little counter, a bit like the Android icons and iPhone icons have that little counter. Now, this one you'll note now hasn't got a feed. And what I do then is I go, sometimes I'll let it sit for a day and see if it picks up a feed or not. So what you do, unpin, and you might find that it's in the widget screen. So this is all the Android widgets, which we all know are just a mess. They're all so completely different, and this is what Windows solved. They made it look clean and tidy by making everything fit into the tiles. Now the widgets here are just all over the place, just an absolute disaster. But what this app does, this launcher does, is it fits them into the tiles. Here's a Feedly widget. That means it's a widget. That means it's going to give us some information. And I can choose a feed. Let's just choose all. And now look, it's put it there in a funny sort of shape. We'll edit that. It's already picked up a feed. Let's go 4 by 2. Apply. Tap and hold and drag it over there. Boom. How great is that? So that's got a feed on it now. I can drag and move that up the screen, drag and hold. Sorry. Oh, now here's something. If you find an app or a tile doesn't let you tap and hold, like this one doesn't. If I tap, it's not giving me the edit options. Like that. Edit. If it does that, and this one doesn't, it'll be something to do with the widget interface, it's overriding that function. Just tap here on the blank area, tap and hold somewhere else, and it'll go into this edit mode, like that. And then you can drag it, move it somewhere if you want, just like Windows. Yeah, great. Just make it more interesting. Oh, let me just do that again. So if I go here, go to the edit, make it a square one. The Windows Phone didn't have this, and I always thought it should have had this. Big squares, just like the desktop Windows had. It had big square icons. And some of the widgets here actually have a little control on them, which still works. which is Windows didn't have that, but you can go there and you can flip through the stories. And a few of them have that, like the Amazon, oh, there it is again. But and the Netflix has one there. The stock app has a little refresh right there if you think it's not up to date and so on. So some of the widgets have little controls which still work in this tiled version. So how cool is that? I think that's really cool. In order to get, I don't really use the Gmail calendar. I don't use the Google services. I use the Microsoft services, so I use Outlook there, which will show me emails usually. Maybe not when I've got 278 unread. But to get the calendar, there is a calendar here which I'm using. And the best thing is just to go browsing in the widgets screen and have a look. It's a bit disorganized, but you just got to go through and try different widgets until you find one that works. There's an email widget which will show you emails as a list. You can make a big list of them there. Somewhere here is the calendar, the Outlook calendar. There's OneNote, several widgets for OneNote, recent OneNotes, little OneNote bar there. That would do something. There you go. You got to play around with those and find what works and what doesn't. So if I want to get rid of that one again, just tap it, tap that icon, and it's gone. Now, more to it. Now, it doesn't look like this by default, the screen. It has bigger gaps in between. It's got a funny wallpaper. It looks a bit funny when you first load it up. And so to really get it looking like the Windows one, you got to get into the settings here, and there's a ton of settings. Here, start screen, number of tile columns, live tiles, and more. Look at all the options. Number of start screens. This is getting into Android stuff where you have multiple start screens. I'm not going there. Just the behavior. There's buttons and options for every type of behavior. Oh, it does folders as well. If you take an app icon and touch and hold and then drag it onto another app, it'll create the folder just like it did on the Windows Phone. I never use that. I think it's pointless. But here, start screen margin, number of columns. You can go way up. I'm not going to mess up my screen though for this. Just know that you can set the number of columns. Where the labels align. And here, show tiles behind widgets. Some of the widgets don't really fit because of their shape, and you can sometimes have the tile sort of force the widget to become a tile and stuff. These options will sort that out. This is the gap between them, the tile margin. I remember the first Windows mobile phones, 7 had quite a large gap, but later on it was quite narrow. That's what I'm using, the narrow one. Even the labels, text size, you can give them rounded corners. Blur the background of tiles. Not entirely sure what that does. And your live tiles. If you've paid for that, you can get the live tile stuff. Contacts, live tile types, circles. Right, that should work. So I'm going to have a look at that and see if I can get that working. I probably need to put a widget on the screen rather than just the shortcut. Show notification content as live tiles. So that's where you get messages and emails and that kind of thing on your tiles. That's essential for that. Some of these things are not enabled by default. Whether you want the notification on tiny tiles as well. We couldn't do that with Windows. Remember that when you get into the small tiles, it just wouldn't have the notification content. And there's the badges like you get in Android as well. Images, if there are images with notifications, yes, of course, you want all that. If you're using folders, have a live tile on the folder. Dun, dun, dun. Very cool. So tons of options there. Theme and colors, of course. I'm using the dark theme, light theme, colored tiles, system colors, known apps. It even recognizes apps, so that your Facebook one is blue and so on and so forth. Adaptive icons. Da, 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 da. You can have translucent tiles. Now, somewhere in here is the theme. Light, dark. Where are the colors? I haven't changed the colors for a long time. Let's just check. I can't even find the colors. Oh my god. Whether you allow the screen to rotate when it's showing the tiles, I don't allow it to rotate because it doesn't make any sense. You can have wallpaper behind the tiles as well and decide whether that scrolls or not, which is sort of like that hub thing that they had on Windows, sort of a parallax kind of a effect. Navigation bars, I don't know. You can go mad in the settings, obviously. And it can have icon packs. You can choose to download different icon packs. So you can make a really slick, interesting looking system if you wanted. And it does let you back up what you've done, very importantly, because if you spend a lot of time doing it, you can easily lose it if you sleep on it and mess up all the tiles or something. Backing it up has saved me once or twice. Also, when you reinstall your phone, reinstall your apps, and then boom, get it all back to how it was. It's nice. Okay, theme and colors. All apps list options. I haven't actually, this is new. Hidden apps. Choose which apps to hide from your apps list. Okay, well that's nice. You can remove apps from that list. Cool. Very good. Backup restore. Now let me just try and find the damn colors. Where are the colors? Oh, it's here. So, remember these? I used to use the variety of these colors. Bada boom. And they don't all change because it's app-aware coloring, you see. Otherwise, it just goes all one color. This is doing the ones that it just doesn't know or something. Theme and colors. Looks like you can have different color depending on light or dark. That's cool. I don't think the Windows one did that. You just had to customize it how you wanted. All kinds of weird colors. I guess 70s retro is no longer in, is it? These were quite fun sometimes. I even used these, I remember, back on my other phone. Yeah, it's so bright on this screen. But there we go. I think that's all I can say about it. As I mentioned at the start, I'm not connected to this person who does this. I just find it a really useful and nice replacement for the Android mess that we have. All right, I think I'll leave it there. There's nothing else I can say. I do want to do another video about this phone, and I want to do another one about my Surface Pro 8, which I'm not enjoying because why would I? Okay, look, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. And catch you next time. Bye-bye.